Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about where to source your items. So we probably all know that you can go to flea markets, thrift stores, the Goodwill bins, or even garage sales to get some items. But I just wanted to give you a few pointers of what works and what doesn't for me, and maybe it'll help you to start figuring out where to source your items. I think this is extremely important for you to figure out which one is going to work the best for you, because you need to make it a routine. You need to make it something that you can schedule on a weekly basis, and you want to be extremely efficient while you're there. If you go sourcing and you're able to score 10 items and you do that in 1 hour versus 2 hours, then you're going to make more money per hour if you could do it in less time. So if you understand where you can source more items in less time, then you're going to be more profitable with your business. That's why I think this is a crucial part of your business, is learning where is the best place for you to source your items. So when it comes to me, when it comes to garage sales are hit or miss. The only reason why I'll do a garage sale is for fun, honestly. But as a business process, is not the best place for me to source my items. Again, it's a hit or miss. And the only way that I would actually go to a garage sale is if it says specifically the items that I want to source. So if it doesn't say men's clothing, men's designer brands, men's big and tall, men's extra large, stuff like that, I'm not going to go to the garage sale, because a lot of time it's a waste of time and it's a waste of gas. And the gas is pretty expensive right now. When it comes to the flea market and the bins, this actually doesn't work well for my business. And the reason why is because the way that you're sifting through the items. So when I go to a flea market or when I go to the bins, you have a bunch of items in a pile. And what I'm sifting through is a lot of different categories of clothing that I don't sell. So I might go through a lot of women's clothing, jackets, hoodies, kids clothing. And finally, when I get to the items that I pick up for my store, it's not enough for it to be efficient. Right? When I go to the thrift store, I can literally go through a rack of shirts super fast. Like I can get through 400 shirts like in an hour, right? Because they're all pre-sorted for me. So when I go to the thrift store, I go directly to the category that I sell, and I'm able to sift through all these items. I can see the brands clearly because they're all hung up. So it's just really fast for me to be able to source these items at a thrift store where they're, in their proper section. So the bins for me and the flea market has not produced good results for me, because I'm going through so much clothing, and the amount of shirts that I'm able to source or that I'm able to sift through at those places is like a fraction of what I could do at the thrift store. Now, you are paying a little bit more at the thrift store, but the way you got to consider is that you're paying a premium you're paying a premium for it to be pre-sorted for you to be able to move through it quickly. And also the quality of stuff that I have found at the thrift stores have been things that usually sell at an average sale price that's a little bit higher than what I find at the bins. But obviously at the bins, you're getting everything for 50 cents, $1. So obviously there's a lot of margin there. So, there's pros and cons to each, but when it comes to efficiency, thrift stores is what works for me. But now when it comes to the bins and the flea market, if you have a store that sells a variety of items of clothing, then the bins works really well for those type of stores. So for example, my wife, she also has an eBay store. It's much bigger than mine's, much more profitable than mine's. And she basically, the bins is her primary way of sourcing items. And she does it extremely well. But my wife sells everything. My wife sells clothing wise. She sells, women's, she sells men's, she sells pants, shorts, jackets. My store only sells men's shirts. And that's why for me, the thrift stores have just shown to be a better way for me to source my items. Now, the other thing, the question that I always had when I was starting out was, how many items are you picking up at the thrift store? So when I first started out, I didn't want to buy the brands that were going to sit in my store. So I was being very picky, but I didn't know that many brands. So sometimes I would go to the thrift stores and I wouldn't find anything at all. Other times I would find maybe 2 items, maybe 3 items. Right now, I'm averaging anywhere between 5 and 8 items when I go to the thrift stores. But I do want you to take this into perspective. I only source at the thrift stores for an hour. The reason why is because I do this part-time, so I usually do this either during my lunch break or right after work, which only gives me an hour at the store, which is usually enough time for me to get through all the men's shirts. But just understand that I'm sourcing around 4 to 8 items per hour. So that's where I'm currently at. I'm still learning about new brands, and I'm going to expand my knowledge when it comes to what, brands sell well on eBay. So I'm probably going to be able to increase that. But as of right now, that's how many items I'm picking up. My aim is to get at least 5 if possible. So maybe that gives you a little bit better idea. If you go to the thrift store and you don't find anything, don't get discouraged. Just go back to the drawing board, do the research, learn about more brands, and then each and every time you go again, you're going to get better and better at it. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here with me. If you guys liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.